Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, and honorable mention Professor Munirul Abidin. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening depending on when you are watching this video. Let me introduce myself. My name is Nabilla Aulia Rahma. I'm from major chemistry and my student number ID is 2506031100 and 32. Today, I'm so grateful for the opportunity to present a fascinating topics. The title of the topic is The Development of Islam in Africa. When we talk about civilization, it's not confined to the Middle East. Africa has also played a pivotal role since the dawn prophet of Muhammad. During the migration of Habasha, Muslims in Mecca faced severe oppression and persecution. Did you know that Africa has an equally crucial and beautiful history in the golden age of Islam? In fact, Africa was very first place outside of Arabia to welcome the message of Islam. Through this presentation, we will explore how Islam entered Africa, how it built great empires, shaped their culture, and how it survives today. So, let's get started. Let us begin with the background and the early history of Islam's arrival in Africa. In the year 615, the first Muslim in Mecca faced big problem. They migrated to Ethiopia under the guidance of Prophet Muhammad because they were weak, so they were tortured and persecuted by the Quraysh tribe. And seeing this difficult problem, Prophet Muhammad ordered a small group of Muslims, which included the prominent figures like Uthman bin Affan, and his wife Ruqayyah to flee across the Red Sea. In Islamic history, this is called the First Hijrah. This historic event marked the very first connection between Islam and the African continent. And the next slide is after that early contact, how did Islam actually grow and spread across such as a massive continent? It didn't happen all at once, but it did happen through just one single method. There were three main routes of entry that we need to understand. The first is North Africa. Islam spread through military expansion led by Amr bin al-Ash, establishing deep roots in Egypt, Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, and Morocco. And second, West Africa. Islam spread peacefully through trade. The expansion occurred peacefully through the trans-Saharan trade routes. Berber Muslim merchants introduced Islam to great empires of Ghana, Mali, Songhai, where the region flourished rapidly. And the third and last route is East Africa. Islam entered via the Indian Ocean Trade Network. Traders from Arabia and Persia sailed to port cities like Mogadishu, Kilwa, and Zanzibar. These cities became rich Islamic trade centers. Moving on the next section, politics and governance in the kingdoms of Africa. As Islam grew, it began to shape political structures and law various African states, creating legendary empires. In North Africa, the region was ruled by the Umayyad and Abbasid caliphates before giving rise independent local dynasties like the Aghlabids, and Fatimids. In West Africa reached its golden age through empires like Ghana, Mali, and Songhai, with Timbuktu as its intellectual heart. Meanwhile, East Africa thrived through powerful merchant sultanates along the Swahili coast, including Kilwa, Mogadishu, and Zanzibar. In the Songhai Empire, made the city of Timbuktu are a world center for Islamic learning, and the administrative system in these African Islamic kingdoms were grounded in Islamic law or Sharia, which was thoughtfully integrated with local custom. They used qadis or Muslim judges to solve daily problems with justice. In the next slide, we'll talk about educational and economics development of Islam in Africa. They were the twin pillars of African Islamic success. The first is educational. Africa was home of two the world's greatest Islamic intellectual centers. In, nine, in 970 AD, it is one of the oldest universities in the world and a global center of Sunni is Al-Azhar University in Cairo. Transformed from a Fatimid Shia institution into the premier global authority for Sunni education. And second is the city of Timbuktu in Mali became a legendary city of knowledge, housing millions of ancient manuscripts in universities like Sankore. They were kept millions of ancient manuscripts about science, math, and medicines. And second is economics development in Africa. In economically, the spread of Islam revitalized the trans-Saharan caravan routes in the west and the Indian Ocean trade network on the Swahili coast, integrating Africa in the medieval global economy. West Africa was the main producer of gold and salt. Salt was very rare and very valuable, so people trade salt pound for pound with gold. This trade successfully became of Islamic business ethics. This booming economy thrived on Islamic commercial ethics, such as strictly enforcing contact honestly, forbidding usury or riba, and collecting zakat. Moreover, the institution of Islamic endowments or wakaf successfully funded public infrastructure, including school, hospital, and community facilities. In the next slide, we talk about the decline. Unfortunately, this great civilization faced a decline because of three reasons. First is European colonialism. Began with the European expansion, which peaked during the Berlin Conference in 1885. This colonization was deeply destructive. This is called the scramble for Africa. Europeans took Africa resources, destroyed trade networks, and ended Islamic states like Sokoto Caliphate. Second is internal conflicts. Africa kingdoms had civil wars and fought each other for the power. For example, the Songhai Empire fell in 1591 after an invasion by Morocco. This lack of unity made it easier for Europeans to control the Africa. And last, colonialism has changed education. Europeans replaced Islamic school with Western schools using European language. However, young Africans forget their own Islamic history, and Muslim scholars fought back by creating independent schools, keeping institutions like Al-Azhar alive. And last, in conclusion, Islam has been part of Africa since the 7th century, expanding through early migration, trade networks, education, and marriage alliances. It built great empires and famous universities like Al-Azhar and the City of Education Timbuktu. Beyond politics and academy, Islam profoundly shaped African culture and economics. Even though colonialism and internal wars causes a political decline, the spirit of Islam in Africa is still alive today. The history of Islam in Africa stands as enduring proof of the religion's remarkable ability to adapt, grow, and enrich diverse societies. It proves that Islam can adapt and grow beautifully with the different cultures around the world. I think that's all enough for my presentation. Thank you very much to my lecture, and thank you very much of you guys to watching this video, and see you to the next presentation. Goodbye and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.